This will be the third problem. So the fourth problem is in regards to seat selection. So selection is one issue that is very, very critical, and to prevent any issue of concurrency, or any issue of concurrency, because seat selection is one thing that easily leads to race conditions, right? So let's say you are booking a seat, right? So you selected a seat and you are booking, not knowing someone also somewhere is selecting the exact same seat that you are selecting, right? And is booking it. Now you've made payment for the seat, and the other person also made payment for the seat, and uh, your let's say the other person's payment, the other person's operation goes faster than yours, right? So he gets the seat. Now you are in a limbo. You have made a payment, but you don't have the seat. The seat is already allocated, right? What is this called? This is a race condition, right? So is both of you racing for the same seat on the platform, right? So there got to be a way to maintain this so that there isn't any issue, right? In regards to you've made a payment, but you don't have the seat, right? There got to be a smarter way to handle this. So there are multiple ways that people go about this, uh, based on the database and the system that the functionalities the database uh, gives you out of the box. It will determine how you handle this operation, right? So if you're using a more relational database, you may probably be going to be using two-phase locking, right, or straight two-phase locking, right? So this will prevent this issue from the start, even before it even happens, right? So let's say two of you are selecting a seat, right, to book. So you're in the process of booking. So both of you are doing the operations of simultaneously, right? But both of you cannot get it exactly at the same time, even though you may think that you can get it exactly at the same time. Both of you are performing the operations in real time simultaneously, right? But not at the same pace, right? So how, if you're using a relational database, how this will be handled is that two of you send your request, and the first request that gets to the database is locked, right? So, like, let's say the second person sent, or you sent a ticket, right? Your request was much faster. It is locked, right? So when the next person sends their request, the lock is placed on the object, so the person cannot get access to it, right? So then a response will be sent to the person that, oh, the seat has been selected, and the seat will be updated on their end, right? That the seat is placed on hold, right? Then they get it. So now there isn't any race condition, right? So you get a seat, or he gets the seat if he's faster, right? So that is on the relational database. They use a two-phase locking or strict two-phase locking to achieve this, right? If you're if you're on the side of a non-relational database, then you may have some options based on what your system provides you. If your database provides you multi-version concurrency control, then you have things like snapshot isolation to fix this problem, right? If your database doesn't give you much of an option, then probably you have to invent that, right, in the application code, right? So I'll go with you inventing the method first. So a way to do this, handle this concurrency or racing issue is, okay, you could apply a queue, right? So a queue. So you could put, like, let's say, a Redis queue. So every request, so if I send a request to the database for a seat to be held, right? Uh, that's that ID, the ID of the seat is placed in Redis, right? So let's say if another person wants to send similar request to the database to hold that seat, we first check the Redis queue whether that the same seat's ID exists in it. If the same seat ID exists in the Redis queue, then we tell the user that what the seat is held, right? But if it doesn't exist, meaning the seat is free, right? So we place the ID in the Redis queue and we place a timer on it, right? So between that time, if the user is not able to finish the operation of booking the seat, the ID gets released back into the pool and people can now book it, right? So that's the way you do it. You do it if you are writing application code to solve this racing problem, right? If you're using something like MongoDB, MongoDB provides its own engine. They call it the Tiger. It's called the Tiger Wide engine, where it provides you with a multi-version concurrency control. Where so this is how it's done. So every seat is an object, right? So if let's say I want to edit that object, I take a screenshot, I take a snapshot of the object. So I make a copy of the object, right? Then I begin to make operations on the object, right? So if let's say another person wants to still hold that seat, uh, the person cannot make any write operations to that seat, right? Because the the seat is already like the snapshot of the seat is already taken to make write operations, right? But the person can definitely see the seat, right? But they cannot write to the seat, right? Until my operation is done. So if my operation is done, the snapshot that I took is compared to the existing object, and then it is merged. The two are merged into one, meaning I have taken the seat and I have booked the seat. Right? So that is a like snapshot isolation that MongoDB provides, which I used to solve the concurrency issue, right? The risk condition, right? Because I don't have a relational database. MongoDB is a more non-relational database. So this was how I handled the concurrency issue in MongoDB by using its multi-version concurrency control, which is the snapshot isolation, right? MongoDB doesn't provide a more strict, a more strict version like let's say two-phase locking or serializable snapshot isolation, but it is good enough. Like the snapshot isolation is good enough for my situation, so I just stuck with that.